Thank you, Margot. Thank you, everybody, for being here. Thank you for Elias is already here. Let me just spend 5 minutes introducing what this initiative, this South African macroeconomic network is, what are the general principles, what is that we are trying to do before we start with the really interesting discussion. When we started to think about building up this network, we were actually driven by two things. I think there is a real big change in the field of macro modeling and forecasting. That is all over the world. There is very much new technique, new data, new way to think about the problem. And we think that is driven by two main things. One is an increasing prevalent uncertainty that makes very difficult to rely on one individual model, one individual framework, especially after the financial crisis, but even more after the COVID crisis. There's been really a rush to try to develop new tools and new way to really understand the evolution of the macroeconomy. This one is also driven by a sort of technological revolution that we see all around us, and there is affecting macroeconomic as well, in which we will leave several examples in this workshop. That is a sort of on one hand, the technological and a data innovation. The dominion of data and of large data is entering more and more in macroeconomics. And there is, in order really to understand what are the underlying changes and the underlying dynamics that drive the economy. And in some sense, in South Africa, we need to find a way to keep a pace with these new developments. And the idea of the South African network is really to try to pool resources and connect the national policy and academia research with this global trend of new models and new data. And therefore, the network wants to be an instrument to promote research, connect academic research with prevalent policy concerns, and to promote training and link national researcher with academia policy institutions all around the world, especially in emerging countries. This is an initiative that is organized and promoted by the South Africa Reserve Bank, organized by Economic Research Southern Africa, and this workshop is sort of the first initiative of this network. Essentially, the function of the network will be three. On one end is sharing. Therefore, what we want is to develop really also a way to work in which we, as a researcher, both in policy institution and in academia, share much more information between themselves, share code, share data, so that we sort of use, we build on each other developments to really try to catch up with these global developments together. The second element is training. Therefore, to promote a lot of sort of innovative graduate training at the national level, really to introduce this new development in the normal development for graduate or policy researchers. And then the last element is model development, really to promote directly the development of tools for model policy analysis and forecasting. We will have some discussion and some development in this course. Therefore, this one is the general idea. I don't go in any more details. Essentially, is a project that is in evolution, and is a project that we need a bit of buy-in from all the research community, the macroeconomists working in all these different institutions during the country. And for this, we will develop a sort of scientific committee, so that is not unidirectional contribution from those inside ERSA that promote this initiative, but is really connecting with the scientific discussion and scientific progress all around the countries. And then we will all started to think about project proposal, training proposal, so that become a much more collaborative, a much more interactive relationship between ERSA as just the facilitator of a developing relationship. Therefore, we are promoting and facilitating, but very much we think is the way forward for the community, especially considering the kind of innovation that we are seeing in the field. For any other information, I mean, just contact myself. Most of you know me, Nicola Viegi, and Vincent, Vincent Adam, that is a young researcher working in this for this network. Therefore, this one is very simply my spiel and my introduction of the network. I hope you will enjoy, you will participate to the next initiative. On the website, you already have SAMNet on the website of the Economic Research Southern Africa website. You have a SAMNet website in which we have started already sharing some of the code. In particular, we share the code of the quarterly projection model of the South African Reserve Bank, that they have done sort of a big effort to be very transparent in the tools they are using. For they made available a sort of the code of the model for researchers starting to they want to particularly to work in that kind in the development of the kind of model. There is some CG model. We are collecting the SG model of the South African economy, especially the estimated model of the South African economy. Actually, those of you that have done work of that, Vincent will contact you if I has not already done that, to try to build up a sort of a big database of the kind of work of macro modeling that is done in South Africa. Therefore, you find that there you find the information on the training and on the workshop like today. Today's workshop is a sort of an example of we have organized a bit the program with a lot of participants from outside, really to give a bit of the impression of the kind of work that in policy institution, in central banks around the world, but also in academia, is done in this area, in this issue. And today, now introduce we have Elias Albayi from the Central Bank of Chile on talking on the macro strategy. Then we will have Matteo Maggiori from Stanford talking about a lot of work they've done on the allocation of capital. I think it would be very interesting stuff. Next, tomorrow, we will have in the morning some work on using data text analysis algorithm and natural language processes to analyze the impact of communication and narratives on the economy coming from the central bank. We will have work on economic complexity and the effect of economic complexity on economic performance using data on economic complexity. And then we have Lauren Kuhn. We didn't have the title in the first program, but it's an interesting title on shock and endogenous and exogenous origin. And then we have in the evening Pierre with Monique Reed on their work on firms and expert view of the Phillips curve. But then we finish with a morning looking at modeling of fiscal policy in South Africa. This relationship between monetary fiscal policy is becoming very central in the policy debate. There is very interesting work that Hilton is doing on this area, and we Romain Usa from University of Moore that has done some work on that. We will discuss way forward on how to model this this critical relationship. Cyril will follow a bit of the work of Matteo. Matteo Maggiori has tried to develop a model on the effect of international financier on allocation of capital. And then we have two more contributions from Johan and Antolin Diaz on using microdata to really understand the trend. Another critical issue that we have in South Africa, understanding sort of the underlying trend, the change in the society, in the economy, and the paper is an interesting technical paper of how we can use microdata to nowcast it to understand the movement of trend. And we finish with Mauricio Vilazimar Villegas from the Central Bank of Colombia. That they've done a lot of work on data for foreign exchange control, foreign exchange intervention. I think is will be an interesting point of view, also information, technical information. This one is a bit what the program is. You see, is we really wanted to give a sense of what is the current work in this field, and build up on this also a sort of our own research agenda going forward. And I hope you will find the discussion interesting.